New York City, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Beijing, Los Angeles. These are all cities that creators have used in their stories for one way or another. Of course, Marvel with New York City using so many heroes, placing it into different boroughs and different sections of New York City and doing what they do there. And it's fine for what it is, but I have my own opinions on that. But we won't be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Gotham and how I think it's more of a better city, more of an interesting city, more of an interesting concept than anything. Um, so I'm gonna be talking about a couple things, and then like I'm gonna go into like my main point on it. So because I just feel like that there's not much to discuss when it comes to that, but at the same time, there is a little bit of insight to it that is not overlooked, but it's interesting to talk about. And I feel like today was a good day to talk about it. So, here we are. So right off the bat, what I would like to say is the atmosphere and the feeling that you get from Gotham City, it essentially stayed consistent for as long as it existed. Like it's always been dark. There's always some shit going on, like crime. You know what I mean? But that's not that second part was isn't even the main point. It's like it was always dark. It was always raining, and it always gave off that archaic gothic vibe. Like everything was looming over you. It was more than just there was buildings. Like of course the buildings are going to be bigger than you, but it felt it in some cases it feels like the buildings are just kind of like looming over you. The city kind of watches the people, you know what I'm saying? And in some cases it does feel like that. I'm not saying it's literally doing that, it just feels like that to some degree, especially when you look at like the old school art of Gotham City from Batman the animated series, and it looks like they're kind of not leaning Tower of Pisa, but it looks a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of see how, in some cases, once again, like when it like say like there's someone standing on the street and the camera points up and it pans down to the street level, like in that sense, it looks like the towers just loom over the streets watching the people. You know what I mean? And just real quick, a little bit of sidebar. I feel like that's why I think Tom King created them. If not, it was Tom Taylor. But one of the Toms, when they created the Court of Owls in New 52, and they said, "We are in Gotham's walls and we are always watching." I feel like, in some cases, they took from what Gotham was already doing, like the actual city was already doing, and they started doing it themselves. Like I said, not only brought that up, not, and I guess I'm saying they bit off the flow of Gotham City, but at the same time, it is what it is. That's just semantics at this point. But I just thought it was cool to bring up, talk about, name drop the Court of Owls. But yeah, I just feel like the atmosphere and the way things felt, the way things looked when it came to Gotham City, it never really changed. You know what I mean? Like even in the Nolan trilogy, which most people on the internet, let me just put that out there because let's face it, nobody cares about what's better or what's worse, what looks better or what's worse. Only comic book movie fans do or comic book fans do. So yeah, but like even in the Nolan trilogy, it was it was filmed in Chicago, whereas everywhere else like was either built on set like the old school movies, if I'm not mistaken, or shot in like New York and New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like basically to give off because again, Gotham City is based on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? Not the Midwest, which is Chicago, and that's where Christopher Nolan filmed the Dark Knight trilogy, which is why it looked like that. But nonetheless, it still looked like Gotham City. Don't get it twisted. The thing about it is you'd have to stay in pretty much like downtown Chicago in order for it to like even resemble, like Miagani Island, Bleak Island, you know what I'm saying, Founders, because of the simple fact that once you get towards like the like out west Chicago, it doesn't really look like that. It doesn't really look nothing like Gotham City. Once you get like to the east side, it looks nothing like Gotham City whatsoever. Like in some cases, it looks like an upstate New York neighborhood. but not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more houses in like suburban like than anything. Gotham City don't look like that, not really. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there though, because even though like with him and what he did with that, like Christopher Nolan still got the ambience, the ambiance, and the atmosphere down to the T when it comes to Gotham. He made sure it was raining on some cases, and throughout the most of the movies, especially Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, it was fucking nighttime. The Dark Knight Rises the only time where it was daytime because shit was truly going down. The entire trilogy was hitting its peak. It was kind of an exception. Batman had to come outside. Shit was, it is what it is. But it still felt like Gotham because it was a fucking madhouse. So even though the sun was up, ain't nothing was sweet about that day. That's why I defend Dark Knight Rises, because it wasn't, it did what it needed to do. Everybody was just encapsulated by Heath Ledger Joker. But neither here or there. We talk about Gotham City today. So yeah, the atmosphere consistent constantly, and it's nothing like New York City, Tokyo, Los Angeles, and it doesn't have to be. It's actually better. And that's why, when it, like me personally, I prefer, like when I'm reading a story, like, or like what, or like taking, like, let's say, like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings out of the equation, like all that, like Star Wars, when it comes to comic book movies or comic books in general, um, Gotham City top of the list when it comes to city locations. Uh, Nobody else has been able to do it better. And even, they even went a step further, in my opinion, and did Jump City and put the Teen Titans there. That's where, and if y'all didn't know, in the Teen Titans animated series and even Teen Titans Go, that's Jump City. That's a whole nother city. Like it's kind of like it's supposed to feel like Florida and California in some ways, but it's like not Florida. Or and if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere out west. I don't want to say California, but it's somewhere. It's something like that. But feel free to correct me if you know exactly where that shit is. I've seen the map before. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Sorry, but uh, yeah. So atmosphere nailed. Moving on. So when it comes to Gotham City, it's more than just a location. It feels more like a character than anything. You know, this is kind of like a character that moves down. Wow, moves down, looms down, and looks over you. You know what I'm saying? As you're walking the streets, watching you as you're, you know, going about your night. Because most of the time during the day, you're at work. Nighttime is where, you're getting out, you're able to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's why Gotham City is packed at night. Not a lot of people realize that. It's a constant moving cog. Nothing stops. That's why I say it's like New York City, because New York City is very much the same way. There is a quiet time in certain points in New York City. Certain like I don't want to sit here and say for certainty that at 1 hour of the day, like the wee hours of the night, like everything gets quiet in New York City. But it's like in some parts of New York City, it gets really quiet. Nobody's doing anything. But in terms of like the main aspects, the main you know uh the like tourist areas and like downtown Manhattan, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is always busy because there's jobs and there's niggas getting out of work, going home, trying to get home. There's niggas going to work. You know what I'm saying? Gotham City's the same way. Gotham City's very much the same way. That's why all them stores still be open, because of the simple fact that this entire city is a fucking cog, like and I feel like people kind of miss that. They miss the fact that it's like it's more than just a big city, fictional, not real. It's more than that. It has a certain bad charm to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a new person can move there and they'll do something bad because of the influence of Gotham itself, not the people of the city. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something about it that makes people go nuts. And I mean, of course, the people help too, but that's kind of been the not kind of been. It's always been the talk of of the comic book community when it comes to Gotham. It's not your regular city. That's why when some people say, "Hey, I would live in Gotham," Some people are like, why? It's literal hell on earth. You know what I mean? And I feel like that had to be mentioned because it's not that it's overlooked. It's just it's something that's got to get mentioned when you're discussing Gotham City, because again, this isn't just a regular city. This isn't just somewhere you go to on vacation. Like nobody goes there on vacation. Notice how you see a lot of like what you call it. Like you'll see a lot of shows and movies where there's no tourists, right? But one time in Batman Mask of the Phantasm, in a flashback, there was a fucking event that brought everybody from around the world to Gotham's World Fair. One time. Other than that, nobody goes there. Nobody fucking goes there. Okay, Clark Kent goes there to fucking write a paper on Batman, but that's about it. Nobody goes there to vacation. Nobody give a fuck about Gotham City. That's the idea of the people in there. It's like the people that do live there, they're just trying to make do. You know what I mean? Or like there's people there that they care about. They can't leave. Whatever the case is, either way, it's just it's kind of like pick your poison. If you do fuck with it, you do. In my case, I do, and I would live there just so I could fight, just for the love of the game. um, but yeah, no, like I kind of want to regurgitate what I said earlier. Not gonna lie to you, like I went into what I wanted to talk about after I made those 2 points about Gotham. I'm not gonna lie to you, I apologize, but yeah, basically, again, this is a city that is more or less. It's not just a city. It's somebody. It's something that is watching you, and it's leading you, if you will. You don't think it's leading you, but but it is. You know what I mean? Or it's leading the bad shit to you, or it's just like either way. This is why people say it's a breeding ground, because you can be walking down the street just like Thomas and Martha Wayne, and then some nutcase walks up on you, tries to rob you, guns you down, and just dips. You know what I'm saying? Or like you'll run into Victor Zaz. He fucking cuts you up and then cuts himself because that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like, it, really think about it. Again, Victor Zaz. Look at Joker. Look at Two Face. The shit that happened with him. Two Face was a scholar. Harvey Dent was a scholar. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a grade when it comes to Gothamites. You know what I'm saying? He was a very esteemed person in the fucking Gotham government, in the Gotham County government. He's mainly known as district attorney, but in most cases, some cases, especially recent ones, like the when I say cases, I say like iterations, versions. He's mayor elect. He's running for mayor. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not just somebody who was plucked off the street. He was somebody who is very, very esteemed, very high level when it comes to not everybody else, but like somebody like the Joker. The Joker wasn't nobody before he was Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not dissing him, it's just what it is. But after that situation with Harvey, where the mobster threw acid in his face, and he felt some type of way after he seen how his face was disfigured. He gave his all to this city. You know what I'm saying? He gave his all to the point to where he was locking people up, and he was pretty much he was like Batman, questioning whether if anything is going right. You know what I'm saying? And then this on top of that just throws salt in the wound and rubs it in. You know what I mean? And that's why you get Two Face, because once he sees what happens to him and how essentially no real justice is being done about it. You know what I mean? That's why you get what you get. You get the coin, and the fact that it's like heads or tails. You lose if you get heads, you win. You get tails, you die. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting that again, Harvey didn't do that to himself. No, the world did that to him. The world he lived in did that to him, and that's what people need to realize. You know what I'm saying? Is that that is that people in Gotham City, especially the villains, they don't make themselves, but yet nobody else is making them either. It's the events that are happening. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they'll blame it on Batman because Batman's there sometimes, right? But it's not necessarily Batman's fault. Batman's just there by fate, by chance, or by his own will. But he's not purposefully making people like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though they'll try to spin the story like they do, like he did, he never did, because it's just the events that led them to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I It's just something to really think about when it comes to, you know, not even just Gotham City, but the inhabitants of Gotham City. You know what I'm saying? Like, not, and I guess, like, you could argue that the people make Gotham City this way, and I mean, it's fair. That's genuinely fair. But it's also art fair to say that maybe the city is has influenced them. You know what I'm saying? Like the founders and the true tried and true builders of this city, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones that influence them to essentially keep everything intact. Who knows? Sometimes it is spiritual warfare, and that's something that some people should study about on their own time. You know what I'm saying? That's a completely different topic, off topic from what this video is. So you want to learn a little bit more about spiritual warfare. You do, just look that up, do your own little deep dive on that. I hope, and I personally hope you find some beneficial shit from that, because, like I said, w- knowing what I know, just even a little bit about that, like I can see that it's the influence of the ancestors of the past, the founding fathers of Gotham, that influence the inhabitants of Gotham today. And you get the righteous that I'd say you get the righteous that come, and they learn about Gotham City, they learn what they learn, you know what I mean, and it inspires them to continue to do what they're doing. And it might be completely different from what this founding father has done. You know what I mean? Like, this one guy just might be like a police officer, but at the end of the day, like, he's still gonna go, be Gotham City Police, because that's what he signed up for, and somebody's got to do it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, New York City is not like this. I mean, you can make arguments, like, there's quite a few rumors in terms of real life that a lot of people will say Times Square is a legit portal to hell. So, like, you can make those arguments for sure, but when it comes to the comic books, New York City ain't really shit. And on top of that, shit's always going down. And you have about 2 to 3 teams that are in there almost at all times, and something is always going down. Always. It's fucking ridiculous. I'll be honest with you. Just real quick before we end this shit on Gotham, right? If there was Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, the Avengers, which means Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Bro, why are you fucking around? What are you doing? Like, none of that shit ever made sense. Like, nah, get the fuck out of here. And notice how all the big niggas, all, like, the big homies, the bosses, mini bosses too, are almost never there. They're either in the sky, out of state, out of country, or off planet. That I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yet, these street thugs in New York City still got the balls to be doing shit when you got 3 different super teams, a Sorcerer Supreme, smack dab and fucking plop in New York. Okay, right? You got the X-Men in Westchester. You better hope that Wolverine's in Canada by this time. If not, you're fucked. Right? Like, why are you fucking around? But most importantly, how the fuck is people running around still doing this shit? I would have surrendered. I would have surrendered. But anyways, uh, again, Gotham City is not your average city. No, the fact that in real life, motherfuckers is like, I would never live there. It it explains everything that you need to know about it. You know what I'm saying? Um, I could sit here yap about this shit, and I mean, I have already, but I mean, the real history behind it, it's not that vast, but it's more like your typical founding father story. You know what I'm saying? And the only difference is that you hear the last names of you know some of the guys today. Like, once again, Wayne, Cobblepot, Elliot. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you hear Dent. You don't hear, like, Joker, any of Joker's names that was used back then. You don't really hear none of that shit. But, like, you get the prominent names in Gotham, and it's like they build it up. It's very interesting if you want to honestly, if you want to know about that, that aspect, I'm pretty sure the Bat Feed, who I spoke about yesterday, they do their deep dive, or what, not a deep dive, but like in their own little stories, they essentially explain the backstory on Gotham, and it's not one for one, but it's essentially what happened. So, the Waynes and the Cobblepots helped build Gotham City. Cobblepots got fucked over by their own faults, but like other niggas were involved, so they blame those other niggas and those families. That's why Penguin hates the Waynes and the Elliots and all these other families, because he feels like they fucked him. It's there is a little bit of lore behind that. I just didn't have that on hand, and I don't want to speak out of ignorance, but I will mention that today definitely. So that's why you never realized why Cobblepot and Bruce Wayne like were never friends or anything like that, is because Penguin, in most cases, when this is established in the story that we are watching or reading, it's because of the fact that the Waynes screwed over the Cobblepots, and the Elliots also screwed over the Cobblepots. Essentially, all the big families did it. So that's essentially what that is. But yeah, I mean, Gotham, in my opinion, has so many amazing things about it. It's just it's a very fine creation. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's lightning in a bottle. You're never going to be able to replicate this. That's just my opinion. I can't say no more about it that'll do it justice. I just feel like it is what it is today because of what the creators of Gotham have done. You know what I'm saying? And DC, they pretty much kept it the same for the most part. So I think that's gonna be it. What do you guys think? Is Gotham your favorite city? Honestly, mine is. It's not even the fact that Batman's in it. It's just the way how it is. Um, it's better than New York City. It's better than, you know what I'm saying. There's no way or no how that any fictional city or any city real city used in fiction is topping what Gotham is, in my opinion. It's just not happening. But yeah, look, any support is appreciated. You know what I'm saying? I hope you have a very great day today. I know it's Monday. It fucking sucks. I hate Mondays. But at the end of the day, all we can do is smile and keep going. Yeah, keep it fucking going. Or just meet motherfuckers on the goddamn rooftop so you can throw them off. Hey, I'm just saying. That's a suggestion. That's just hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, happy Monday, kids. I'll see you in Gotham.